In ancient Greece, the story of Narcissus was told, a young man of extraordinary beauty who one day saw his reflection in a pool of water and became so enchanted by it that he could not tear himself away. He ultimately died, consumed by his obsession. This myth is not simply about vanity. It speaks to the self-destruction caused by an overwhelming love for an illusion of oneself. Today, the narcissism we see in human relationships is not so obvious.
I always say narcissists will give you the date of your life. You will have the most amazing time and you'll come away screaming about how wonderful it was.
Already in 1979, Christopher Lasch warned in The Culture of Narcissism that modern society was raising hollow individuals obsessed with image and external validation. Long before the internet or social media, Lasch foresaw the collapse of family, community, and how it would condemn us to seek outside what we could no longer build within. Today, his diagnosis sounds more accurate than ever. It doesn't always manifest as obsession with mirrors. More often, it hides behind masks. The true narcissist does not reveal who they are. On the contrary, they adopt carefully crafted masks for each situation. The perfect lover, the loyal friend, the selfless savior, the misunderstood martyr.
I'm a narcissist. Of course I feel like I have the right to abuse you. Of course I feel entitled to cause you pain. I am superior to you. You and all people like you. You exist to serve me.
All of it is strategy. From the very first moment, they study you. They scan your wounds, your fears, your dreams.
How do I stop myself becoming prey to a predator?
You stop acting like prey. Everybody assesses everybody. They do it intuitively. Project what you want them to feel.
Do you fear loneliness? Do you crave validation?
If I am looking for a partner, number one thing above everything else is the degree of artificiality that that person is comfortable with. So if I see someone and they're getting their dopamine from likes on Instagram.
Do you long to be seen and accepted? They sense it, and they become everything you have ever wished for. First, they use a tactic known as love bombing, an overwhelming flood of affection, attention, promises, and shared dreams.
One kind of caricatured way of looking at a narcissist on a date is that a narcissist is more worried about being impressive than they are being impressed by you.
Your brain reacts. It releases dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. You become addicted, not to the real person, but to the chemical rush they create within you. Then they introduce intermittent reinforcement. Today you are idolized, tomorrow you are ignored. Today you are placed on a pedestal, tomorrow you are subtly criticized or abandoned.
What the narcissist is actually trying to get you to do is to submit. It's very, very simple. You're saying, oh, why did he do this? Why did she say that? Why does he keep doing it?
This alternating behavior hijacks your reward system. Your brain becomes destabilized. Your nervous system falls into a loop of anxiety, hope, and dependency.
You made me feel bad by feeling bad about the bad thing I did. I know that sounds like a big circle, but that's what they're upset about. They like the emotion when they bring up something and and they're calm.
You are trapped. Gradually, you are engulfed in the emotional fog. You begin to doubt your perceptions. You no longer know if your intuition is real or if you're imagining things.
When you communicate with a narcissist, what is your objective? Be goal-orientated. When you speak with purpose, or you do not speak.
And then they deploy gaslighting. That never happened. You're too sensitive. You're crazy.
When you communicate to fulfill your objective, not theirs, or you do not communicate. Actually, narcissists are quite easy to trip up. They really hate silence.
Gaslighting erodes your internal reality. It makes you dependent on their version of events when you are no longer useful to them.
You know that narcissists often push you to your breaking point, so you're the one to leave? This is often called the reverse discard. And you may wonder, well, why don't they just leave or admit that they're unhappy?
Or when they find a new source of supply, they initiate the discard. You are thrown away like a broken toy.
So remember, narcissistic personality disorder is a very, very anxious, anxiety-based personality disorder, even when it's receiving narcissistic supply, because all of this is compensatory, and this is not fixed, this is not stable.
Without empathy, without guilt. Yet, many times it's not a final goodbye.
Listen to me, the intentions of the narcissist are evil, and you should judge them as such from a moral standpoint, because that's your last line of defense. Listen to me.
Later they return, with nostalgia, fake apologies, grand declarations of love.
If I'm going under heart surgery, I want a psychopath. I want a narcissist. I want a person that cares about the results and doesn't care about me. They care about just getting the result.
This tactic is called hoovering. Like an emotional vacuum, they attempt to suck you back into their game, not because they love you, but because they need your emotional supply.
Maybe charismatic, extroverted, driven. So that combination of grandiosity is what you see in your classic ex-boyfriend, your politician, your celebrity. That's that profile.
Many narcissists are not born, they are made, especially when raised by a narcissistic mother, a figure who did not offer unconditional love, but conditional affection. I love you if you obey me.
No longer hide their deeper stuff once they get triggered. The masks come away and they come out. So some of the main triggers for a narcissist are perceived rejection.
I withdraw love if you disappoint me. The child learns that love is something to earn, that their worth depends on pleasing others, that manipulation is survival.
That's why you're easily manipulated. If you are the person, and please know that I was that person. If you are that person where you are just reactive, you're gonna sink your ship.
They grow without a solid self. Instead, they build a facade, fragile, hollow, desperately dependent on external validation to feel real.
One of the ways of knowing that we're dealing with a narcissist is when we look at their entitlement. They feel very, very entitled to do the things that they do.
Neuroscience shows us this damage reflected in disruptions in the medial prefrontal cortex, the brain region responsible for self-reflection and empathy. From this profound wound emerges the dark triad of personality, narcissism, grandiosity, constant need for admiration, lack of empathy.
They don't get power from that. They feel shame because they're the reason that person is crying. And they know that. But instead of saying, I am so sorry, and taking ownership and taking responsibility, more shame, they get angry at the person for showing the emotion that brought up this bad feeling.
Machiavellianism, cold, strategic manipulation of others. Psychopathy, absence of remorse or guilt.
Seen any change. The heartbreak of narcissism is that you can actually train this person to be a little bit more empathic, to not be so jerky and not be so entitled, and actually listen to other people. As soon as there's some stress in the system, they blow it.
When life demanded that they forge a strong internal self, they could not. So they fabricated an illusion of superiority to shield their brokenness. I am the best. No one will ever humiliate me again, but beware, they do not prey on everyone. They seek specific targets, deeply empathetic individuals, those who are altruistic to the point of self-sacrifice, people with low self-esteem, survivors of manipulative or chaotic environments, and yes, even those who believe they are unmanipulable, because overconfidence also blinds. If you possess great empathy but lack strong boundaries, you are the perfect target.
We call post-separation abuse. Narcissistic people do not like to be the ones not in control of the narrative, and they have what we call strong rejection sensitivity.
Just as Narcissus was lost in his reflection, the narcissist is lost in their false image. But to truly understand their downfall, we must recall another myth. Icarus. Icarus, intoxicated by his own power, flew too close to the sun. The heat melted his wax wings, and he plummeted into the abyss. So too does the narcissist fall when they destroy all genuine relationships, when their mask can no longer support their emptiness, when the loneliness they feared becomes their only companion. Recognizing a narcissist is not about hate, it is an act of self-love. The best defense is not to fight them, it is to strengthen your own being. A human being with a solid sense of self, clear boundaries, and deep self-respect is immune to their games. Remember, true love nurtures. It does not confuse. It does not diminish. It does not enslave. Freedom begins the moment you see the truth and choose never to return to the lie. If you found this valuable, don't forget to subscribe, stay connected, and protect your light. The journey toward freedom has only just begun.